Your child holds it together at school, they're fine at grandma's, fine with their friends, and then they walk through the front door and completely fall apart, and somehow you are the target. If this is your life, this video is for you. This is not a parenting failure, it is actually the opposite. But to understand why, we need to talk about what's happening inside a PDA nervous system and what it costs to get through a school day. PDA children spend enormous energy managing the demands of the outside world. School is wall-to-wall demands. Sit here, do this, line up, be quiet, transition now. A PDA child who gets through a school day without imploding has been running on adrenaline and masking for 6 to 8 hours. That energy has to go somewhere. Masking is the performance a PDA nervous system puts on to survive the demand load of the outside world. It is exhausting. It is not sustainable indefinitely, and it only works because the nervous system knows, somewhere, that there is a safe place to take it off. You are the safe place. You are the person with whom the mask comes off. Not because you've done something wrong, because you are the person they trust most in the world. The depth of the meltdown is a measure of the depth of the trust. The demand avoidance threshold, the point at which the nervous system cannot absorb anymore, is lowest with the person they feel most safe with. The outside world gets the managed version. You get the unmanaged one. That is not a punishment. That is attachment. What looks like targeting, like your child is saving the worst of themselves specifically for you, is neurological debt being paid in the safest available environment. They have been running a deficit all day. They come home and discharge it. And they discharge it where they know they will not be abandoned for doing so. This shows up in a few consistent patterns that PDA parents describe across the board. The child who is fine at pickup, chatting with the teacher, waving to friends, and then the meltdown starts before they even reach the car. The safe environment has been signaled. The discharge begins. The child who is fine all week at one parent's house and falls apart immediately at the other's. The parent who gets the falling apart is almost always the primary attachment figure, the one they feel safest with. It feels unfair. It is not arbitrary. Teachers say, "We never see this at school." Parents often receive this as a reassurance, or worse, as an implication that the problem is at home. It is neither. The fact that the child masks completely at school means the after-school implosion is inevitable. The school environment is not better managed. The debt is just bigger. Here's the reframe. The worst meltdowns are for the parent they trust most. Not because that parent has failed, because that parent is safe. If your child did not trust you, they would mask with you too. The discharge would go somewhere else, often inward as burnout. What you are receiving is trust, delivered in the hardest possible way. This does not make it easier to absorb in the moment. Being screamed at by someone you love, who you are trying to help, is genuinely hard. But changing what it means changes how you respond. And that changes everything about the dynamic. The discharge is not a message about you. It is not a verdict on your parenting. It is not your child telling you how they feel about you. It is a nervous system offloading a day's worth of accumulated demand pressure. Do not treat it as a communication. Treat it as a weather event. Your job in the discharge is not to fix it. It is not to reason with it, or correct it, or respond to the content of what's being said. It is to not make it worse. Presence without demand. Quiet availability without engagement. Let the storm move through. So what do you actually do? Here's what tends to help, and what consistently makes things worse. Don't engage with the content of what's being said during the discharge. "I hate you" does not require a response right now. "You ruined everything" is not a conversation to have in this moment. Engaging with the content escalates. Calm, quiet non-engagement gives the nervous system room to down-regulate. Reduce demands in the first 30 minutes after school, or after any high-demand environment. No questions about their day, no requests to get changed or do homework, no transitions. Give the nervous system a buffer zone before anything is asked of it. The demand can wait. The nervous system cannot. After the discharge has passed, reconnect briefly and warmly. Not a debrief, not a consequence conversation. Just a moment of warmth, a cup of something, a quiet proximity, an acknowledgement that you are still there. This is what repairs the nervous system and closes the loop on the event. Long term, a child who feels safe enough to fall apart with you is building the capacity to eventually self-regulate. The safe discharge is not a permanent state. It is a developmental stage. Children who can fall apart safely with a trusted adult are developing the nervous system architecture that will eventually let them hold themselves together. You are part of that process. If you are carrying this alone, absorbing the discharges, trying to understand what's happening, wondering whether it will ever ease. The community is there, other parents who are in the same position. It helps to know you're not the only one. Free Discord community, link in the description. I'll see you in the next video.